Chapter 30. Tonight, after meditation in the hall, I went to the hill and sat on a rock which had probably rolled down from the higher parts of Shiva's mountain to the bed of the stream, which during the rainy season rushes behind the ashram's compound. The night was calm and hot, and in the east, rain clouds were gathering, clouds from the ocean that were slowly moving towards Tiruvannamalai. The outlines of Arunachala were clear-cut and sharp against the sky. The lower, massive body of the hill remained invisible, wrapped in the darkness of night. I have never failed to feel the strange magnetic influence of Arunachala, even in its visible form. At first, I could not rationally explain what relation there could be between Maharshi and the hill, for I knew that the sage was far beyond all special beliefs, and that he regarded the whole world as an illusion and a play of our physical senses. And yet it was undeniable that even in his books he mentions Arunachala with the highest reverence and love. It is mysterious, at least for those who have not fathomed the symbolism of this strange South Indian hill. In this quiet night meditation, I decided to use the newly discovered method of perceiving that which is imperceptible to the ordinary mental faculties. This method consists in a preliminary purification of the mind of all thoughts, leaving only in the intention of getting into touch from within with the desired object of cognition. Afterwards, what is translatable into the language of the mind is transmitted to it. In other words, intuition has to provide light from a source which the mind cannot reach. The powerful magnetism of Arunachala makes the whole process easier. As soon as I plunged into meditation, discarding all objects from my sight, I began to see that for which I had been searching. First of all, became clear the well-known occult law that everything has its corresponding form of manifestation in different worlds. Hence, that which is the spiritual essence of Arunachala can have its reflection on the physical plane, just as that which constitutes the real man has its corresponding counterpart on the visible plane in this form which is called man, only through illusion. Obviously, something had to be created on this earth for the sake of earthly beings, to remind them of their immortal heritage in the only real sphere, that of the spirit. Hindus, according to their religious conceptions, call that the form of Shiva, and so on. They say that in remotest times, when humanity was beginning its existence on our globe, Shiva himself appeared on the summit of Arunachala as a column of living fire. Why should I not accept this symbol as meaning that spirit life in time bursts forth from the mortal vehicle where it has been hidden? I have always seen the paramount need for resurrection. So the symbol of this hill, this mass of immovable physical matter, whose peak throws forth into heaven a flash of fire, reveals to me its real meaning. To me, as to many others, Arunachala was and is a signpost on the path. Later on, I also devoted a good deal of time to an attempt to understand what Maharshi himself expressed in his short and concise style about the qualities of Arunachala. Most interesting was his assertion that even the mental image of the sacred hill is enough to stop the fatal round of endless thoughts which makes our approach to truth and realization seem impossible. That same night, I proved my experience that this was right. Maharshi also said, Arunachala destroys attachment to worldly things, that is, to the objects of physical illusion. This I proved later, when I found that every time Arunachala was mentioned or described by those who regarded it as their beacon, I felt this worldly illusion disappearing from my thoughts, falling into the shadows of unreality, which is their true source. I also soon understood that it is not wise to accept only those things which are translatable into the language of the mind. Every man, in order to supplement the stock of physical energy in his body, thus enabling it to rebuild its worn-out particles and assure its growth and development, must take the proper amount and quality of food. But it is not necessary for him to remember the chemical content of each morsel he swallows. Even science has asserted that the more natural is the process of eating, and the more unconscious and without any interference from the mind, the better it is for our body. If Arunachala can be a great help, a powerful impulse in my spiritual progress, what does it matter if I am unable to get a clear analysis of the process? The most important ones in the universe, as well as in our own consciousness, take place in a natural and simple way. It's not a hint and a lesson to all those who are seeking truth, not from curiosity or passion for experiments, terms which in this case would be improper, but simply because they cannot help it, since it has become their very life. The peak of Arunachala points the way upwards, a way always the same and unchangeable throughout the ages. It speaks to us in the language of silence, as Maharshi does. What is the link and relation between them? I only know that the mysterious, to use the worldly term, atmosphere of the sacred hill has made me experience the reality of spiritual influences, which always come to us when the time is ripe. Without definite experience of this kind, we could not have any certainty on the path. Theories will fall into dust at the first trial, or they will simply be forgotten as unable to help in our struggle. They have the same source as the mind, which is, according to the sage of Arunachala, a mere conglomeration of thoughts. On what would I concentrate, or where would I find my life had I not had beforehand experiences transcending the limits of the individual, earthly consciousness? For all I am able to feel or think through my physical body will have to be discarded, together with it as their source. Yes, it is now perfectly clear. But shall I be able to remember it all in time and not submit to external happenings, nor allow them to draw me away from the truth which I have once seen? Shall I be able not to deviate from the one straight line during the long file of equal days to come? An inner voice, which I must trust, says, "No, not yet." That means I shall still be at the mercy of ups and downs, of flight and fall, of light and darkness. It is the fate of every student in the great school of life. Whoever has reached the state of an uninterrupted union with, or merging in truth, is a master, a superman. He is one forever with the source of his inspiration, the mysterious Arunachala. At the feet of such a great one, I now have the privilege to abide. Nothing can happen without a purpose or in vain. The light of Arunachala will show me further steps upwards, as it has already revealed the meaning of the most enigmatic of all truths. To live, one must lose oneself. That is our transient I. And as Maharshi points out, here on earth there exists a rare remedy which helps those who have recognized the illusory character of their personality to discard and even destroy it without destroying themselves physically. Know it to be none other than this great Arunachala. Now once more I see the massive body of the sacred hill. The moon is much nearer the horizon, and the dark shadows are deepened by black clouds, which have come from the sea, from the east. It must be late. No light is visible in the ashram at the foot of the hill, and no steps nor sounds of voices are heard on the high road which encircles Arunachala. All is silence and peace. The fresh eastern breeze is now blowing.